Retro Racing reports from the super track Saugus Speedway. We have the NASCAR SWTour Miller 100 from September 10th, 1988. Be sure to like and subscribe. Put your comments down below. Now on this night, September 10th, 1988, the SWTour traveling group is coming through. They're also running street stocks and the street stock figure eights. Now, there was a rule at Saugus that if you wanted street stock points, you also had to run the figure eight, which made it extremely interesting. The guys got real familiar with one another, and they ran some wonderful figure eight races back in the day. It was terrific. There's an article in here from March 26th of 88 talking about when the tour had come earlier in the season. The race was won by Roman Kalzinski, very popular driver out this way. There's a great shot in here also of Dan Press and Roman Kalzinski. They finished 1-2 at Stockton in the tour race there in August. It was August 13th. And there's not a lot of data here about who won the race and who did their things, so we will jump forward to the program of the week later. So the week after, which does have all that wonderful stuff. The program is by Lynn Farrago, terrific guy. He did a great job on these things because it mattered to him. So here we go. Hood captures first SWTour victory. Mike Hood held off NASCAR SWTour points leader and former Saugus Speedway champion Roman Kalzinski for his first ever SWTour victory in the Miller 100 last Saturday night at Saugus Speedway. Dan Press, two-time Saugus champion, posted a new track record of 15.751 seconds on the flat 1/3 mile paved oval, and with the top 8 fastest cars inverted, Lauren Kelly and Hood lined up on the front row. Well, Kelly jumped out to the lead, followed closely by Hood, Ray Hooper Jr., Kalzinski, Troy Beebe, Rick Corelli, Press, and Ken Peterson. Now, Corelli spun in turn 4 on lap 5, and Press, trying to avoid Corelli, was rear-ended by Peterson, causing the cars to become hooked together, though they soon untangled and the race continued without interruption. Well, Kalzinski and Beebe got by Hooper on lap 14, taking over 3rd and 4th. A second yellow flag came out on lap 17 for a get-together between Mark Perry and Peterson, over in turn 2. And on the restart, the top 4, led by Kelly, started drawing away from the field. After a yellow caution period on lap 36, due to an encounter between Press, Bill Sedgwick, and Harry Brady, Kelly's car faltered on the restart, and he pitted, but returned to action a short time later. Hood assumed the lead, followed closely by Kalzinski and Beebe, with Mike Chase in 4th ahead of Ron Hornaday Jr. On lap 53, Hornaday and Gannon made contact in turn 4, doing some damage to Gannon's car, but this would be the final yellow of the race. The later stages of the race became 2 3-car battles for position. Hood trying to hold off Kalzinski and Beebe, and Chase ahead of Lord and Hornaday. Kalzinski unsuccessfully pressured Hood constantly through the remaining laps, with Hood winning by a car length over Kalzinski and Beebe. The drama in the final laps really centered on the 4th place battle involving Chase, Larry Lord, and Hornaday. Hornaday got by both Chase and Lord on lap 98, when Lord got trapped behind Chase, who was running on a flat tire. Hornaday was 4th ahead of Lord, and Chase struggled to an 8th place finish behind Will Harper and Sedgwick. Well, that sounds like quite a battle took place there for the SWTour cars, with Mike Hood getting his first tour victory. Got some nice shots of that show up here. We also have some good shots of the street stock race, which was won by Dave Blankenship. Here's the story on that. This is from the same night as the tour race of September 10th, 1988. Defending hobby stock champion Dave Blankenship came into the final points night of NASCAR Street Stock Racing tied for the lead with Russ Beckers, but twin victories in the oval and figure eight features propelled him to the 1988 Street Stock Division Championship. Yay! Going into the oval main, Beckers had established a 3-point lead via victory in the heat races. However, Blankenship, as second fastest qualifier, started second in the straight-up field with Beckers starting 10th. Fast qualifier Craig Rayburn took the lead at the start, with Blankenship slipping into second, followed by Brian Hayden, Dale White Jr., and Ed Horst just behind. The top five started pulling away as Beckers battled into sixth. Rayburn got sideways on lap 8, allowing Blankenship into the lead, with Hayden taking second. Beckers caught and passed White for fifth, and then on lap 15, when Horst passed Rayburn for third, Beckers also moved by Rayburn for fourth. In the remaining laps, Blankenship held off Hayden for the win, and Horst held off Beckers for third. Therefore, going into the final figure eight event, Blankenship and Beckers were once again tied for the point lead. Well, on the second restart of the figure eight main, due to a 5-car tangle coming out of turn 2, Blankenship, who started inside second row, maneuvered to the inside of the front starters in turn 1 and grabbed the lead. Kenny Wilson was second, followed by Rayburn and Steve Nicolai. The first of 2 red flags came out on lap 4 when Garrett Cromsight went straight into the turn 3 wall after having moved to fourth. At this point, Beckers was still stuck back in 9th position. However, Blankenship started developing a problem. The rear 2 hood pins had come off and the hood was flopping up into Blankenship's line of sight. Well, despite this problem, Blankenship continued to hold off Wilson. On lap 12, the second red flag came out for several stalled cars near the intersection. Blankenship maintained his lead in the final 3-lap dash for a 6th victory of the year and the championship. Rayburn made a last-lap pass of Wilson for second, and Wilson was third with Nicolai fourth ahead of Mitch Thompson. Beckers was ninth, just 8 points shy of becoming the new champion. And of course, we have the points right there. That's a wonderful time. Saugus Speedway. Lately, the biggest news from Saugus is it's being made flatter than it was. They're actually tearing it up. That's a sad day, but that was a long time ago, and we still have our memories. That's Retro Racing Reports from Saugus Speedway, September 10, 1988. Like, subscribe, and put your comments below.